MSNBC has jumped the shark a long time ago, and it's not just my opinion. We have an ex-MSNBC host accusing her former network of overhyping Russia collusion narrative. Now, here's what I'll say to kind of simmer down, Washington Examiner. This is from Crystal Ball, who I believe is with The Hill TV, and I think she's absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate her commentary coming out and saying, in no uncertain terms, MSNBC hurt the left. I really respect that because I agree. And I think we need to be honest about what they're doing. I'm going to come back to this, but I want to make sure I stick to the lead, which is the most insane MSNBC. Micah Brzezinski pushes the idea that Trump isn't Barron's father. Okay. Morning Joe, co-host Micah Brzezinski, floated the idea Friday that President Donald Trump might not really be Barron's father. During a segment recapping Thursday evening's Democratic primary debate, Brzezinski made the suggestion and then pressed the issue when her co-host and husband, Joe Scarborough, tried to change the subject. Thank you, MSNBC, for once again showing us that you guys are off the rails, Alex Jones level, whatever you want to call it. It's just, it's gossip, nonsense. Please, this is what we get. You know what? We get what we deserve. MSNBC, never one to be outdone. We'll go from Russia, and when they're all out of that, maybe Barron isn't really Trump's son. And you know why? Because apparently Trump said something like Melania has a son. Oh, dude, we're gonna get into that, okay? Because I wanna focus on that story, but I do want to talk about. I want to lay some context down and talk about Bill Maher show the other night with Crystal Ball laying into MSNBC and talking about how they hurt the left. And then, because we already understand the Russia stuff, we'll move into the weirdness of claiming Barron isn't Trump's son. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate. If you would like to see more content like this, I could just use your support. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address, but of course the best thing you can do is share this video because I'm on the internet. I don't have one of these big fancy TV networks. I'm actually competing against MSNBC, who is getting propped up by YouTube. I kid you not. We look at the data, YouTube pushes that content and deranks this channel. So there you go. Let's read the story. So again, if you like the content, please consider sharing it. They say former MSNBC host Crystal Ball said on HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher Friday night that she believes her former network has done more to hurt the progressive cause than help it throughout President Trump's time in office. Do you feel networks like MSNBC help or hurt progressive causes? Host Bill Maher asked Ball on the show. Overall, I think MSNBC in the Trump era, and of course, hold on, you can see that she's trying to very delicately say this. It's not easy to speak up again about your former colleagues. So it's respectable when someone is willing to do it and try and be respectable as they do. She said, overall, I think MSNBC in the Trump era has done real damage to the left, and I'll tell you why. Damage, Maher interrupted with surprise. And I say that with love. I mean, these are my former colleagues, friends. I mean, look, the Russia story and what happened there was important. But it was not all important. And they went so far into the realm of conspiracy theorizing. I mean, they had Jonathan Chait on. She gets cut off. Bill Maher says it was a conspiracy. It was. It was nuts. You know, Bill Maher then goes on to talk about how Mueller didn't go far enough. Okay, we'll get to that. I disagree, but we'll get to that. She says they had Jonathan Chait on to talk about how Trump may have been a Russian plant since 1987. What is this? He may have been, Maher said. I think Maher said it somewhat facetiously, though. This is ridiculous, okay? From Ball. This is way out from what journalistic facts said, and it's to the exclusion of other stories that people actually cared about. Thank you, Crystal Ball, hitting the nail on the head with the hammer. I don't care about your stupid conspiracy theories. I don't care about a server that pinged a Russian bank in Trump Tower. I don't care. It sounds nuts. It's a waste of time. Okay. I'll walk it back. Go ahead. Do an investigation. But MSNBC talk about policy. They don't do it. It's my biggest complaint about everything going on is it's so easy to understand the conservative point of view on issues because the left won't address it, and I blame MSNBC and other outlets. Crystal Ball talks about healthcare and other issues that come up. She's actually trying to get back into the issues that will be beneficial to the left. Thank you. You know, what's the saying that people have brought up? An eagle needs two strong wings to fly. You need a good right and a good left, a strong argument on why positions must be that diversity of opinion. They go to battle in the marketplace of ideas, that phrase, and to the victor go the spoils. But if the left is just screeching about Russia and conspiracy nonsense, well, it's just going to waste everyone's time. She noted several other prominent issues unfolding at the time and accused MSNBC of not focusing enough attention on them because the network was tuned into one thing. She said MSNBC intensified expectations about former special counsel Robert Mueller's report to such a degree that many people thought it was not as big of a deal when the report was actually released. New York Times opinion writer Barry Weiss agreed with Ball's assertion, saying the hype surrounding the report meant anything short of a P-tape was nothing. Thank you. Listen, there were so many other issues going on at the time. But you know what? I know I wanted to lead with this story, but I really thought that was fantastic because there are so few people who come on the left or from the left that are willing to point this out. They are not, the Democrats, the media are not focusing on issues Americans care about. They're chasing after the woke Twitterati. They're talking about Russian conspiracies because they're chasing after Twitter. Thank you, Bill Maher, for hosting this panel. But now we can see just how far MSNBC has fallen. Micah Brzezinski pushing the idea that Barron isn't really Trump's son. So I read this already. Let's jump down. Scarborough wrapped up his assessment of former Vice President Joe Biden's performance by saying that overall, the Delaware Democrat had done well despite a few minor gaffes. I thought he had a good night. What? They wrote that wrong? I don't know. Get a copy editor. He said, adding, I will say, though, we're going to have a new segment on Morning Joe, and it's going to be called Adventures in Syntax. Oh, okay. We're going to have Donald Trump yesterday in the White House talking about Melania's son and mumbling the word together, Scarborough continued. Maybe it is Melania's son, Brzezinski chimed in. Scarborough said, it is Melania's son. Are you kidding me? What are they doing? Yes, it's Melania's son. That's what he was saying. It was just her son, Brzezinski pressed. That's just what he said. Let me get back to Biden because I don't know what you're saying. Scarborough tried to change the subject, but never let a good conspiracy go unused. He didn't remember Barron's name, or Brzezinski continued. Just stop. Scarborough's trying to stop her. We'll let the tape play itself, okay? Brzezinski was not the only Trump critic to seize on the president's turn of phrase. Mediaite. Trevor Noah rips Trump for his bizarre "she's got a son" reference to Melania. Barron, how on earth does Trump forget that he has a son? He didn't. People all the time talk about their wife's kid in reference to their kid too. It's usually said in a way that's like, you know, well, it's her kid when the kid does something wrong. Okay? Is this not normal? I feel like I've seen this where the kid will do something and the dad will go, your kid just let the dog out and the dog broke through the fence. My kid. That's the point. Now, I get it. Trump isn't in a circumstance where he's like, you know, be mean about what Barron's saying. He was talking off the cuff. She's got a son. Trump seems, it's like, you know what, man? Why is this news? Why am I even talking about? Well, okay, I'm talking about it to criticize MSNBC and the other and the media outlets because it's just insane. The president made the comment Wednesday while discussing the possibility that his administration could ban flavored vaping liquids. You know, for years we endured insanity, and I was hoping after Russia was over, there would be some return to normalcy. While I can certainly thank some commentators like Bill Maher, like Barry Weiss, like Crystal Ball for speaking up and pointing these things out, maybe Bill Maher's show is like the last good show the left has, okay? But you get all these media companies, Trump will say something, and they will extrapolate to an extreme and insane degree. It's what Alex Jones does. Alex Jones goes on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's like, you know, 5G technology is going to give people tumors, and so they're going to do hybrids so that people can survive the 5G. It's like, okay, here's what he did. Something happened. He then wildly assumed why and for what reason, and that's what he does. Now, I get it. That's just Jones, and Jones is an entertaining character. Here we have what is supposed to be the credible mainstream press. Trump says what? People outside were soaking wet, bad weather out there, and they go, what does he mean? He means it's raining. We assumed that. We have no idea. Like, that's all the information we have, so we're going to extrapolate to an extreme degree and then say, ha, Trump, but it wasn't raining. This really happened. I kid you not. I covered it a couple days ago. People were soaking wet because it was 88 degrees and sunny, but Trump says something, and they just twist it in any way possible. How insane and absurd. And you know what? Here's what we're looking at. The one big story, the Russia insanity, and the little story. Trump muttered a phrase, and all of a sudden now they're saying he's not the father of Barron. Oh, man. I'm done. It's just such silly. I got a couple more segments coming up for you in a few minutes, so stick around and I will see you all shortly.